What is going on, my today people? I really appreciate you all joining me again for yet another. Now, on today's entry into the time capsule, we're going to be talking about the Writers Guild strike a little bit. We're also going to just slightly touch on the Disney and DeSantis situation. I told y'all I was going to be keeping up with that whole thing. Adidas right now is being sued by their shareholders. I'll give y'all my opinion on that. 1MDB, they're calling that right now the biggest financial scandal that we've ever seen. I'll let you guys know. You guys have probably already heard about it and just didn't know you did, but we'll talk about that. Also, Elon Musk was on the Bill Maher show. Man, that's the guy y'all say is the smartest on the planet. So I'll give y'all my opinions on that whole interview. I watched the whole thing, y'all, just for this. What else? What else? What else? Black people owning slaves. Hmm. We'll talk about that a little bit. But before we get into the main portion of the show, those that have been listening, y'all already know what's next. Dear future robots, will the evolution of inorganic sentience require algorithmic code? Now, for my today people out there, algorithmic code is essentially a set of instructions that are written in programming language to perform specific tasks and solve particular problems. It's pretty much a way for humans to communicate with computers, giving them a step-by-step instruction, so to speak. Now, in order to create these algorithmic codes, the programmers must use programming language such as Python, Java, and C++. I know a lot of y'all have heard that already, or these languages from your engineering friends if you went to college or whatever the case is. If you even built a rudimentary website, you've had to have heard of one of these. Now, these programming languages have their own syntax and rules, which programmer has to follow in order to create code that the computer can actually understand and execute. Now, the beauty of this, just like learning any other language, is that it can be used in a wide range of applications, from simple calculations to complex machine learning algorithms. For example, algorithms are used in search engines to rank web pages, social media platforms like Instagram to suggest content for you. We've all experienced that. And also financial institutions to detect fraudulent transactions. And here goes the story of Eddie Tipton. Now, for those that don't know, Eddie Tipton was the security director for the Iowa lottery. All right. Now, for all intents and purposes, Eddie Tipton seemed like the normal guy, 9 to 5, go to work and go home to enjoy his nice mansion. Yes, that's right. Yes, this normal 9 to 5 guy had a nice mansion. No family, but a nice mansion. Eddie Tipton is notable actually because he actually got caught for scamming the Iowa lottery, amongst other states. So what Eddie did was actually create an algorithm or a program that was going to pretty much give him the numbers that were going to be drawn in this lottery every time, or every time he wanted it to be. He got over $24 million in 10 years and probably more. He was giving money to his friends, friends of friends, ex-girlfriends. He was living it up for the longest. Now, ironically, uh, Eddie Tipton was tripped up and caught because he bought a hot dog and he wore a hoodie and didn't tell his cohorts that he had that hoodie on. You guys can look up the story. It's very interesting. He was eventually sentenced between several states to 35 years in federal prison. And like you guys can guess, he didn't do more than 4 years. He's out right now after stealing all that money. And all the money wasn't even accounted for. But hey, shout out to all the scammers out there, man. Man, let's get started with the show, man. I can't do this with y'all right now. Let's go. How's everybody been doing out there, man? I hope everybody's been living in their blessings, as I like to say. Everything's been okay on my end, considering. Uh-oh, don't worry, guys. The world is not ending. Whenever I say anything other than life is great or I'm blessed, people start to think the worst. But it was manageable. My house about 2 weeks ago was struck by lightning. All right, it didn't cause a fire, but it came up through the side of my house and literally exploded one of the panels. Like this was a locked panel, and if you look at it now, it's in pieces. It looks like it was scorched. But that sent a surge through my home that destroyed some appliances. My wife was at home at the time. It was just her and the cat, and she was scared half to death. She thought she was going to be electrocuted. We didn't have power for several hours. And it's crazy because it didn't really affect the rest of my neighborhood. It literally just, a bolt must have hit like right, either right next to my home or a tree right next to my home or whatever the case is. But it sent that electricity through all those millions. It just sent everything through to my house, man. And I spent this past like week and a half, like either putting, my hands to work and fixing things or calling people over like technicians and these engineers that work at these companies like my internet company, the power company. uh, Man, I just had somebody the other day from, this irrigation company, for my sprinklers, because I had to replace my sprinkler controller because that was blown up. And also some of my wiring, for the sprinkler system that I have in my home was messed up. So I had to have somebody come over and dig that up. And it was a whole mess, man. It was a whole mess, but it kept me really occupied. And as y'all know, with me, family comes first. So, I had to kind of put a pause on the show, but I am very happy to be back. Things are nearly back to normal at my home. I just gotta swap out a few light bulbs or smart light bulbs that don't quite do the smart thing anymore. They're dumb bulbs now. But eh, I'm all right. Nobody was injured. Nobody was hurt. There's still food in the fridge, thankfully, and it is what it is. But yeah, man, I'm just picking everything up and getting back to work, man. So we good. We're good. No need to worry, y'all. But I left off in that intro with Eddie Tipton, man. Like this. Have y'all heard of a scam like that? Like this is way better than Hush Puppy. That guy's about to do a whole bunch of time. This cat made off with over 24 million and only did like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years. And he was able to be released and go live with his family, man. What a scam. He's a scam god. That's a real scam god right there, man. You don't really see it like that. Like he got caught and made out. Like, and they don't even know if he has more money left. Like you see regular run of the mill scammers now, like they looking over their shoulder for their whole life. This guy had his mansion in plain view, working around a lot of money. I don't know. This is just spectacular, man. Like you don't see too many scammers like this. So from one scammer to another, did y'all see the CNN town hall with former President Donald Trump? Yikes! If you haven't seen it, please watch it. I'm not gonna front, and I'm not ashamed to say I was entertained. Yes, I was highly entertained, and that man can entertain. I give it to him. I give it to him. President Biden's gonna have to do a lot, man. I'm not gonna front. He's gonna have to do a lot to curry favor right now. I believe he's down in the polls. I don't know. He seems to not be fighting hard enough, and I really want that from him. Prior to the election, I was calling him this generation's LBJ. We got to see that though. We got to see that. Don't make me out to be a liar, President Joe Biden. Don't make me out to be a liar. We need you to step up, start using that heavy pen, and stop trying to avoid it, man. Like this politics, man. Help some people, bro. Come on, you old enough. You don't you ain't got much more of a political career to be trying to fight for, man. So let's do some great things. Come on. Let's see. Let's see. We're gonna get right into scrap metal media, y'all. I'm trying to think. We got a lot to get to, and I really want to try to make this episode as succinct or as quick as possible, y'all. All right. So let's get right into it. Scrap metal media, y'all. Let's go. Scrap metal media. Now, before we really get right into scrap metal media, I just have to say this because I'm almost certain it's gonna come up. No, I am most likely not gonna vote for Donald Trump. Right? Even I can enjoy a town hall and see the entertainment value and the ridiculousness of it and not be a super fan. Come on, like seriously. But I will say this: President Biden needs to step to the plate. He needs to do what needs to be done in order to, how I feel, curry my vote. Right? I need him to expand the affordable health care plan. I'm not saying he needs to make healthcare free, even though that's, I think, the best for our society as a whole. And because I get their steps to it. He may not be willing to do that, but bruh, you can make college free, man. Like, you can make college free. I know the 10,000, 20,000 is cool. It's cool. It does a lot for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, but you can make college free, bruh. I anticipated this guy being the Lyndon Baines Johnson of this generation, the LBJ of this generation. Don't make me out to be a liar. Seriously, don't make me out to be a liar, man. I need you to use that heavy pen, right? The executive order, man. Make some moves, push some things, really put some pressure on some of these people that don't want these things, and some of these corporations that don't want these things to go through, man. Like, what you got to lose, man? Like, what do you have to lose? You know. I also want to see you put some resources back behind the child tax credits, man. Like that even got depleted by these Zion, I don't know what you want to call them, these a lot of these conservative, I don't even want to say conservative, because that it's too complex, because some conservatives aren't as bad, so but yeah, all I'm saying is I just want to see a bit more from Biden, because any pushback that comes his way, he just steps out of the way. That's what it seems like to me. He doesn't seem to be fighting to. I want the Biden that presented himself, not the you don't, you're not black if you don't vote for me, Biden. I want the guy who was threatening to fight Trump. Oh, I'll take you behind the dugout, you sucker. Like, I want that guy. Like, we need that level of fight in regards to taking care of the American people, right? We should have a country that has a floor. In America right now, there is no floor. You can just look at our homeless population. Look at the children that are dying in schools from bullet holes. Like, yeah, we don't even know what a man and a woman is. It is what it is. We don't have a floor. So leave office, Biden. Just in case, if you are gonna leave office at least having created a floor. Create a floor. All right, so let me get off that little soapbox. I'm sorry, y'all. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Somebody out there was like, "Oh, he must be voting for Trump." No, nah. I find him funny. Come on, seriously, pull the stick out. Okay, so as far as scrap metal media, like I was saying before, I want to get right into these Writers Guild strike. All right, so apparently the union came together and they were asking for streaming residuals, right? That's the major component or major key here. And they were obviously also asking for more compensation. So higher pay and residuals from streaming, right? Writers, apparently now, most writers don't get it, which is wild to me. I thought it was a given, but just like the music industry, the labels and these studios are always going to do what benefits them first and more. It's a dirty game, y'all. And I honestly have a love-hate relationship with writers and a lot of creators in Hollywood, for the simple fact that they never really represented people like me in a positive light. Especially nowadays, you don't see too many shows or movies with strong black male character like leads that aren't like a part of the LGBTQ. And nothing wrong with that, but like I don't see myself as represented. And even when they do represent somebody like me, it's a pretty like stereotypical role. Like I gotta be like a gangster or some kind of drug dealer or a woman beater or it's pretty interesting, man. But hey, obviously there's tons of men and women that are great people that have these jobs and just want a chance to thrive and create. So I'm rooting for them. But again, it's Hollywood's never done me any favors, so we'll see how that goes. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out on it. I do think they settle. I just don't think it lasts long. These studios might have just started using some kind of chat bots or something like Chat GPT or something to create scripts or something. There must be something going on there. Like, yeah, they've come together because they're upset at how Adidas handled the whole Kanye West situation. Because Kanye's been saying crazy stuff for a while. I mean, and I use the term crazy loosely, obviously, but he's been saying some just wild things for a while now, and he's been on Adidas for those periods of time, and they kept him. I guess he didn't say the right things. He was only talking about black people. As soon as he talks about Jewish people or the Jewish faith or the Holocaust, I guess some people can be messed with and some can't, right? I don't know, but shareholders have pretty much had enough. And this is something that I think will be settled outside of court. I think least amount of litigation as possible. And, Adidas will handle this quietly. But man, like I said before in the previous episode, Adidas is going to have a rough few years, man. Jeez, Jerry Lorenzo, run, get away, get away. So moving on from that, the whole 1MDB situation. For those that don't know what that is, you guys have for sure heard about it. You just probably didn't hear that because our media in America is, weird. But it's the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund. All right. BBC is calling what happened the biggest financial scandal ever. There were billions of dollars stolen. Now, this is indeed the score. Some of the ill-gotten gains and funds were used to help bankroll like movies, like literally, like The Wolf on Wall Street was funded by some of this stolen money. Also these people obviously bought but one of the principal figures, who's still at large, by the way, is a guy they're calling Joe Low. I think that's his name. It could be aliases nowadays. So, but they were calling him a billionaire playboy prior to all of this. And he was moving around certain circles, rubbing shoulders with famous people, notable people, rich people, whatever the case is. And one of the people he came across, I guess he might have been a fan or something, I don't know, but member of the Fugees, Pras. Just like the CIA did Freeway Ricky Ross, I think he used them. All right, our media in this country made Pras look like a villain, like he was the scapegoat or something, right? Because you don't want to, in America at least, you don't want to talk too much about financial crimes because it goes on all the time here. We're just a little more sophisticated, right? Just hide it a little better, right? When you own the media, who's gonna call you out? In America, at least, like this story, I had to go to like the BBC, or I had to go find it on another source, like, you know what I mean? And I hope y'all look it up because I don't want everybody to just hang on my every word. I'm trying to motivate researchers and leaders, not just followers that are just going to sit there and take everything. Please, everything I'm saying, everything you've heard me say in any episode, just look it up. Just look it up. Fact check me. You know what I mean? Fact check me, please. I encourage it. All right. But getting back to this, I just didn't like how the media presented this guy. You're seeing him essentially do a perp walk. Like, they're making him seem like he was the mastermind. Like, oh, Pras did this. All right, come on, man. This guy was definitely used, man. The kid from Haiti was finessed by zealots. All right, so I'm hoping he doesn't get too much time. They're talking about a possibility of being sentenced to upwards of 22 to 27 years or something crazy like that, man. And, I don't think it deserves all of that. I hope he doesn't get the longer end, but hey, that's family business. We'll see. All right, moving on. I said I wanted to talk about Elon Musk on Bill Maher, and that's what I'm gonna do. I watched the whole interview, the whole episode just for y'all, and I even took notes. So it's a few points that I want to touch on. All right. So starting off on this interview, it went normal enough, right? Elon was trying to make some jokes, and they had some kind of witty banter going back and forth a little bit. You know how Bill Maher does his show. So that was innocent enough until I heard Elon Musk say that Americans have to be aware of things that are anti-meritocratic. Wow, tone deaf. Interesting. If you go in a little deeper, just dive in a little deeper to what that means. Anti-meritocratic. So those that deserve it. So if the person saying these words, if the person using these words must believe that, they are the shining example of meritocracy is, right? I'm Elon Musk. Everybody says I'm the smartest man on the planet, right? I deserve this. I slept on the factory floors. I created Tesla, right? Wrong. First of all, Elon did not create Tesla. He bought it from the true creators. He merely used his money to market it a certain way. He merely used his money to hire engineers, hire great designers, hire other, I can go on and on. But to say that Americans have to beware of things that are anti-meritocratic, that might be you, my guy. That might be you, Elon. It just might be, right? I mean, like, anybody can research your family. I can't remember what kind of mine your family owned in South Africa. by the way. And why I say South Africa like that is because that was during apartheid South Africa. I'm not sure if it started before and ran into it, but either way, y'all taking land from the real people from that area. So, you know, irregardless or regardless of how things are now, obviously it's a mixed society, but you can't ignore what was happening during apartheid, and your family benefited greatly from that. So, by proxy, if your family made boatloads of money, you were probably able to go to the best schools. You were probably able to get the best education. You probably had a lump sum of money to buy businesses or start businesses at a young age, which you were able to sell and parlay that into relationships, parlay that into more money, parlay that into hiring great minds to work around you. Like when you say something like anti-meritocratic, man, look in the mirror, man. Come on. But that's that. Let's see. I also think we talked about Kanye West a little earlier. I think he's one of the people that helped radicalize Kanye West. If you look at Kanye's Netflix documentary and see the episode where he had his property he was staying at on the coast of Puerto Rico, and he had these two businessman type characters talking to him. It looked like they were just trying to finesse him out of some money. But he was there kind of until he wasn't, right? Y'all saw the episode. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Kanye West, around the time where he was saying things like Harriet Tubman didn't do anything and slavery was a choice, was hanging out a lot with Elon Musk. A lot with Elon Musk. And y'all obviously know he looks up to people like Elon, right? He always talks about wanting to be Disney and wanting to, I'm the Elon and blah, 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 blah. So he clearly, at least at the time, thought that Elon was a lot smarter than he is. So I think Kanye was hanging on Elon's every word, and these are words in confidence. And people like Elon, white people who think they're smarter than everybody, obviously not every quote unquote white person, but just speaking to people with the mind state of Elon. You know, you can just look on any comment section on the internet, you can see it. And that's not to say there aren't, ignorant people of every skin tone or complexion, right? But just talking about this archetype, all right? He's going to think he's smarter than you, and he's going to be talking down to you. You know, he's going to be talking at you, essentially. So I think Kanye got dictated a few things, and he took it, right? Because around that time, you had Elon wearing Yeezys and Kanye saying slavery was a choice. I think that was the nice exchange there between the two of them. But, that's just my opinion, and it's based on evidence. It's based on facts. Y'all can look at everything I just said and make up your own mind. I mean, some of y'all are lovers of Elon Musk and maybe lovers of Kanye West, so your brain will try to do backflips to avoid seeing the obvious truths. But hey, getting back to the interview, he also talked about the woke mind virus. I don't even know what that is, but I know I don't want to use the word woke anymore. He let's see, seems upset that certain things can't be questioned, right? Somebody like himself and his family, people like him, they're used to having it all. So when you say, hey, you can't say certain words like the N-word, people like that get upset. All right. I honestly, y'all, I think this guy is finessing the population, man. No hate. I don't have hate in my heart for anybody, but I like to call out what is. I like to call out what I deem or what I believe is true. And, just presenting this information to y'all, please do y'all own research and make up your own minds on this, man. This guy said, he had a moment in the interview where he said that info traveling from person to person individually was like osmosis. And he went on from saying that to saying that the internet makes it more like a nervous system. What? Why wouldn't it still be osmosis? Like, because it's still essentially person to person, right? I don't know. It's something that people, he said it, and he said it in a way like he thought it was like profound or something like that. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I'm telling y'all, man, this is the person y'all think is the smartest in the world. Man, I got a bridge to sell y'all. Like, it's just like what you're saying is the same thing. All right. And this guy, like I said before, he thinks starting a company. He had a moment where Bill was talking to him, and it was in regards to him being perceived by some as a conservative now or something like that. And he said, "Oh, how could I be a conservative? I started a company. That has to make me moderate. Like my company does this, my company, bro. Like, what are you, Mother Teresa? Did you start your company for free? Are you giving away cars? Is that what it is? No. Like, people, y'all really got to listen to what these people say. They're telling you and they're showing you who they are whenever they open their mouths. Like, just listen, just take away the emotion. Like I said before, when emotion enters the room, logic leaves. All right, so just listen. I don't mean the rapper Logic. But and hey, there's nothing wrong with being conservative in regards to just Elon Musk specifically. I think he is the evil villain in every movie. Like, y'all seen the Don't Look Up movie on Netflix? Yeah, I think this guy's trying to go to Mars just to expand the human race and save humanity. Nah, don't be fooled. Just look at the character from Don't Look Up. They did a great job on that movie. That's Elon Musk. All right, and also this is the last point I'm gonna say, please, and Google it, Google it. This guy believes in simulation theory. Just Google it. Google what simulation theory is, and Google when he said it. Like I said, fact check me. All right. Man, like I said, I want to keep this as short as possible. So I think I've gotten everything off my chest, at least. Yeah, that was a little rant, right? I think I've gotten everything off my chest for Scrap Metal Media, man. Let's move right along, man. Let's go. Okay. Now it's time to get into the main segment of this entry. And before I do that, I just kind of got to get this off my chest, y'all. I look around in our society, right? And all I see right now is division. Wedges are being created, chasms are growing, and for a lot of people, it's entertainment. For a lot of people, it seems like just normal. And hey, I gotta say this as well. For those that know me, y'all know I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just not. I value facts and evidence way too much, right? But with that being said, not all facts and evidence, not all truths have books. There's tons of truths and tons of evidence and facts that don't exist in any books. These books haven't been written yet, right? Maybe they're not meant to be written. So a lot of this information and a lot of things that you seek out or you try to learn, you actually have to open yourself up to it. All right, you have to be open-minded. You have to explore more than just one source. Like, I know a lot of people that speak unequivocally about things that they saw on one Instagram video or TikTok, or they Googled it, and the first search result is what they looked at, and now that's their knowledge base. I have things that I personally understand out of the very little that I do understand, right? But I have things that I understand, and it took me owning several books on just one topic, watching several hours long lectures, and listening to podcasts. Like knowledge is, in my opinion, knowledge is like, and this is just my philosophy, knowledge is like a tapestry, right? Knowledge is like a mural. There's many different colors that are used to create such beautiful works of art, like murals and stuff like that. Like, only using one source is like having a mural with only the color yellow. Like, what is that? What is that? It's just a yellow wall. Like, you know what I mean? It's just a yellow canvas. That's it. Like, you need more colors. Like, you need more sources of information. You need more perspectives. Like, I value perspective. Like, I can sit and talk to anybody and gather something. Like, their perspective, I'm gonna learn something from their perspective. It doesn't even matter their knowledge base. So just what I'm saying is just keep yourself open. Listen to people, even if you don't fully agree with them. If anything, you'll strengthen your position up, because you got a lot of people that they don't want to talk if they don't agree. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to talk. And obviously we have a society that suppresses learning by telling you to not talk about certain things at certain times. Like, everybody's heard this before. You don't talk about religion or politics, right? In polite society, you don't speak about religion or politics. Why do you think that is? They don't want people with differing opinions to discuss their positions, because one might influence the other, vice versa. right? So, but yeah, let me continue, man. As humans, man, and especially Americans, I think that we're being weaponized against each other. Whether it's the amount of brown, aka melanin that you have in your skin, uh, the color of your eyes, your social uh, class. I mean, the amount of money in your bank account, the political ideas or positions that you hold. I mean, all these things I think are being used as a way to kind of keep us in constant ideological war with our fellow classmates. And then, when I say classmate, I actually mean class, not like in the sense of school, but I think class is the only thing that truly matters in a lot of these modern social systems, right? Especially these hierarchy-based systems like our system. We got like this class hierarchy totem pole type system. Um, while the upper class women and men sit back, egging it on merely because their continued existence and success rely on us being disheveled and ignorant. Like, there's a lot that's been going on, man. And I say all that, I know that was a long little monologue or whatever, but I say that because I keep seeing certain things going around that, because of all the things that I've been engaged in and engulfed in as far as my learning or my studying, I get it and I know where it comes from, and I think what I think about it, but to see it push so much and to see the algorithms continue to throw it out there means that other people are falling for this stuff, right? And just like I said in the opening, it's the concept or the idea of freed black people owning slaves in America, right? And before you guys go at it, listen to me carefully. I'm very specific with my wording. I'm just listen. Now, in America, right? Prior to it being America, right? The America that we know, the United States of America, prior to it being that, there was this thing called indentured servitude. Now, what this was a type of slavery. So yes, when people speak, when these fake scholars speak, you got to listen to words specifically. All right? When somebody says slavery, you got to know what slavery they're talking about, because there's multiple types. There's indentured servitude, and then there's chattel slavery. Chattel slavery is what came about after indentured servitude, when they said only these people with this much melanin in their skin, or they just said Negroes or whatever they said, only these people are the slaves, and those people will be slaves for a life. They're not human. Indentured servitude, on the other hand, was, hey, I'm coming over here, I'm an immigrant coming to this new land, and I just want to work. I'm gonna rent myself to you, or lease myself to you for a certain amount of time. I think usually it was about 6 to 7 years. And once my time is over, you're going to give me money, you're going to give me land, and you're going to give me some slaves of my own, aka some indentured servants, some other people. Give me access to that, right? So yes, in that system, freed, quote unquote, black people did own slaves. That is true. That is a fact. You can look it up, and you do your due diligence as far as research, and you will see it. There's names. I think one of the guys' names was William Smith or something like that, but William something. But he's one of the ones on record, and people say, oh yeah, he was vicious as all the other owners and all the slave masters, or whatever you want to call it. But again, that's the nuance within this conversation. That was indentured servitude, not chattel slavery, right? The system was the system. I mean, everybody has seen Django, and even though that's a fictional story, man, Jamie Foxx, I hope you get better. But everybody's seen that movie and seen the character that Samuel L. Jackson played. Yes, there were people like that, for sure, absolutely. What they say, all your skin folk ain't your kinfolk. There are people that will sell you up the river for positioning. It just is what it is. That's been the way. That's been, Brutus put a knife in Caesar's back. Like, are they not countrymen? So people keep having this weird, and it's clearly, to me, it's clearly brainwashing. But people, it's almost like these biases are kind of subtly pushed into our minds, and we do what we can to kind of align ourselves with these beliefs, even though they don't make sense. Even though they don't make sense, man. Meritocracy, right? We talked about Elon Musk earlier, right? The food, but there was this thing called meritorious. I think it was meritorious manumission or merit-based manumission. Let's just say that, and that's just being freed or earning your freedom by doing something, or maybe somebody saved the master's life, or help put the fire out on the plantation, or I don't know, snitched on another slave that was trying to escape. I don't know, but whatever it was, you gained favor in the slave owner's mind, and you were let go. It's called meritorious manumission or something like that. Google it, please, researchers. But either way, just keep in mind, slavery is hundreds of years. So I'd assume, just taking an educated guess, that a lot of people were freed at some point prior to the Emancipation Proclamation, Juneteenth, and all that good stuff. We had freed blacks, not to mention the people that escaped and became, and earned their freedom that way, right? But a lot of these people were working, gaining money and resources, right? Doing well for themselves, like quote unquote black people tend to do when they're left alone. These people, what they were doing was actually buying family members that happen to still be in slavery, right? It's all a transaction, right? I'm freed. I'm a freedman. I'm gonna go back and buy my wife. I'm gonna go back and buy my children. I'm gonna go back and buy my cousin. All right, my mother. And you don't do your own research, or you don't look more into it. I don't know who to call a fool. So just be careful out there, because this kind of pissed me off, man. And you keep seeing, well, let's say I keep seeing the blacks own slaves too, and it feels like some weird justification for like this whole anti-reparations movement. And shout out to California. I mean, I wish what y'all were doing, maybe tweak it a little bit. But if it was tweaked a little bit, it'd be nice if it was a national program. But you got a lot of people threatening that, if that happens, like, I'm in these, when researching the whole situation in California with their, and let me back up right quick, because some of y'all might not know. California, it's, they've been fighting for reparations for a while, right? But it's actually now to the point where it may pass the governor, or it will pass the governor's desk. And the governor, Gavin Newsom, will have to make a decision on whether California will start paying descendants of freedmen, right? The descendants of the freed people, right? The people that used to be slaves and were freed, right? But yeah, I would love for that to be an actual, national or nationwide situation, because I think that's the only way we can all come to the table with a clear conscience and understanding, and want to make things really work, not just serve lip service. You get a lot of these people like, my ancestors didn't own slaves and da. Most likely y'all benefited from the system that did own slaves, and it was legal to have slaves, right? But hey, but like I was saying, this whole anti-reparations talking point stuff, man, I don't like it, and I just hope y'all will be able to catch it next time it passes y'all, and y'all don't take this crap as gospel, right? I remember seeing the and it wasn't really a good movie. I kind of fell asleep midway, but the what is it called? The Woman King. It's another situation where people were using something like that to justify their feelings towards reparations, or black people enslaving other black people, or whatever the case is. Like I said, there's all your skin folk ain't your kinfolk. There's going to be people that do things to get ahead, or do things out of duress, whatever the case is. In the case of that movie, I'm not sure how factually correct they were. Being that it was Hollywood, I doubt they were factually correct. But hey, it is what it is. People were going to do what they were going to do, and what happened, and we know that. And I also felt like it was a lot of male bashing going on with that movie, literally and figuratively, or metaphorically, I should say. Movie was a little distasteful for me, but I just didn't like how they glorified these people. It just was weird, man. Yeah, I remember when Lupita Nyong'o was asked why she turned down the role on the Woman King movie, and she had really good reason, right? She actually had family members, ancestors that were involved in the slave trade, the capture and movement of slaves to come over to the West, right? From these people that were depicted as heroes on the Woman King movie. But, Hollywood didn't care. But, and shout out to the writers out there. All I'm saying is be careful out there. Be careful where you're getting information. If you hear information, even from me, I'm no guru. Please don't put me in that category. If you hear me say something, research it. Research it. And if you're stuck, hit me in the comment sections, email me or whatever if you're shy, and I'll tell you where I got the information. I'll show it to you. I have no qualms with doing any of that. But what they say, these battles are against principalities, right? My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, right? Stop all this division. Let's bring people together, right? All the greats got taken out because they figured it out. Malcolm X, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King Jr., right? And etc. The list goes on. Just be careful, man. Don't let these folk confuse y'all out here, man. All right? The concept of race is definitely being used to divide. And when you divide, you conquer, all right? Look up Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. Look up Carl Linnaeus. Even Charles Darwin. A lot of these people were responsible for what became these white supremacist mindsets, that fictional concept of white supremacy. A lot of those three names that I mentioned did a lot for that movement. The BS of talking about melanated people's, quote unquote black people, the brains were smaller, and all that stuff came from them. How we use white and black today came from them. White and black are words. They've been around. People describe themselves as that. But related to class, how we relate it to class nowadays, that came from those guys, right? That's just a fact. Research those names. Research those names. Man, things will change, y'all. It ain't gonna be overnight. Took them hundreds of years to set up this system that separates the haves from the have-nots. And this ain't a black and white thing. All right. Again, remember, I'm talking about us coming together. I don't support Nation of Islam and all that kind of stuff, because from how I see it, they're not talking about coming together. Remember how Malcolm X died? The only way to do it is with how Fred Hampton was moving. Change is gonna take time, is what I'm saying. Discipline, strategy, and patience. For all my people out there that would unfortunately still using terms like white and black, if you consider yourself white, understand that these cultures are created. Like these class delineations, they're not real, right? Nothing makes me different from you. Put me in your same experience, life experience, circumstances, culture. What makes us different? I mean, I just have more melanin in my skin. That's it, right? If I came up in the same situation as you, same parents came up in the same situation, same everything, like for like, we're the same. But these concepts that are being pushed out through Hollywood writers, media, news, entertainments, they're telling you that we're some kind of degenerates, and Chicago, and all that. Come on, man. And vice versa. To my people out there that call themselves black, every quote unquote white person ain't bad, right? A lot of times these people just don't have information. A lot of times, keep in mind, there's almost 70% quote unquote white people in this American population. A lot of them don't know black people. And I'm not saying you have to reach over the aisle and go out of your way. I'm not saying that at all. But just keep in mind that every interaction isn't going to be a hateful one. Sometimes the lady that seems to be clutching on her purse, maybe it almost slipped. You know what I mean? Maybe the person that seems to be excessively locking their car door, maybe they are hard of hearing. You know what I mean? So discipline, strategy, and patience, y'all. Discipline, strategy, and patience, y'all. We can do it. We can all come together and do it. I'm not a protester, but Occupy Wall Street style in the mind. you know, we'll see, man. Like I said, let me get off my soapbox, y'all. Yeah, bet by bit is next, y'all. Let's go, man. This ain't just a prediction. This is bet by bit. The bet by bit prediction of the day is that just like all these AI generated rap artists and music and songs and voice modulate, whatever the case is, all this stuff that's going on as far as AI generated music, we're going to see the same thing happen with scripts, movies, TV shows. We're going to see a lot of AI generated scripts, y'all. It just only makes sense. We talked about the whole writer's strike earlier. I think this is what's going to come out of it. Look, the march of technology is unhalted. Like, you know what I mean? Technology has been a juggernaut to humanity, man. There's no way to stop it. Once the genie is out of the bottle, you can't put it back in. And again, it's best to figure out where you fit within it as opposed to being a Luddite. But yeah, that's my prediction for the day, y'all. Had a lot of fun with this episode. Like I said, with all the things that have been going on, I was a little delayed. I know for those that were thinking or wondering where I was. Here I am. Here I is. I hope y'all enjoy the episode. I really do. Just remember, man, do your research. Make sure you're doing that research from multiple sources. And, talk your ish, man. Talk your ish. All right, man. I think that's it. I don't got nothing else for y'all, man. That's all I got for the time capsule today. Peace. And we are just universes crashing. Just do your best to leave a mark. Also, subscribe, comment, and leave 5 stars. This is Wendy, signing off. Dear future robots, peace.